The sound of rolling suitcases, airport announcements, and the rush of travelers filled the air. Among them was Sara Malik, a young woman in her late 20s, her face tired but glowing with hope. She had just landed in Karachi after years of struggle abroad, a return not of triumph, but of quiet determination. Her eyes carried dreams bigger than her suitcasey broken bar, except that the suitcase she picked up wasn't hers. She didn't realize it yet. She just wanted to get home, hug her mother, and start her life over. But destiny, it seemed, had packed something else for her that day. At the same time, Arman Shah, a 35-year-old self-made millionaire and CEO of Shah Enterprises, stood near the airport's VIP exit, his phone pressed to his ear. His assistant was panicking. The suitcase that carried crucial documents for a billion-rupee delay and something deeply personal was missing. Arman's calm expression couldn't hide the storm behind his sharp eyes. "Find it," he said in a low voice. "That luggage isn't just buzziness, a broken bar, it's everything." Meanwhile, Sara dragged the heavy bag through the narrow streets of her old neighborhood. Her mother's eyes filled with tears seeing her after years. "You're home, my daughter," she whispered, holding Sara close. The bag sat in a corner of their small living room, still locked, its tag slightly torn, the name unreadable. That night, as rain softly tapped the tin roof, Sara opened the suitcase, expecting to find her clothes and a few books, but what she saw inside froze her heart. Stacks of files labeled Confidential Shah Enterprises, a luxury wristwatch, a photo frame of a little girl, and a letter. Her hands trembled as she unfolded it. The letter was written by a woman to her husband, Arman. "If you're reading this, I hope our daughter grows up knowing how much you loved her before you lost everything, a broken bar." Sara closed the letter quickly, her eyes wet. "This isn't mine," she whispered. But the rain outside only grew louder, as if fate wanted her to read every word. The next morning, news flashed on TV. A business tycoon Arman Shah cancels major deal after losing important documents at airport. Sara's heart raced. She couldn't afford a trip back to the city center, but she knew she had to return it. That's who she was, honest, even when the world hadn't been kind. She packed the suitcase and took the earliest bus she could find. Her shoes soaked, her clothes wrinkled, but her resolve unshaken. When she reached Shah Enterprises, the guards wouldn't let her in. "You can't just walk into the CEO's office," they said with a smirk. "I'm not here for money," she replied softly. "I have something that belongs to him." Hours passed before the news reached Arman. He stepped out, curious but cautious. When their eyes met for the first time, he saw something familiar in her: honesty, sincerity, something he rarely saw in people anymore. "You found my bag?" he asked. Sara nodded and handed it over. "I'm sorry, I took it by mistake." He opened it, relieved to see everything untouched. Then he noticed the letter had been unfolded. His expression changed. "You read it?" "I didn't mean to," she said quickly. "I was confused. I didn't know who it belonged to." Arman sighed deeply. "It's fine. Most people wouldn't have come back at all." Sara smiled faintly. "Maybe most people haven't lost everything before." "I know what that feels like." Something about her words hit him hard. He asked her to sit down, and for the first time in years, Arman spoke about his past, how his wife had died in an accident, how he had thrown himself into work to forget, and how the letter was the last thing she ever wrote to him. Sara listened quietly. "Maybe," she said softly, "life took your wife but sent people your way to remind you that kindness still exists." That moment changed something in him. He looked at her, not as a stranger, but as a reminder of hope. "You know," he said after a pause, "I was supposed to meet someone today for a charity project, but maybe fate sent you instead." In the weeks that followed, Sara began working at Shah Enterprises, not out of pity, but because Arman saw something rare in her: integrity and compassion. She started as an assistant but soon proved her worth, handling clients with grace and empathy. The office began to feel warmer, less corporate, more human because of her. Arman found himself smiling more often. He'd often catch himself watching her laugh with other employees or helping an intern fix a report. Something in her healed something in him. One day, while walking through the city's orphanage for a charity event, Arman saw Sara comforting a little girl who'd lost her parents. He quietly told the director, "Let's sponsor her education." Later, Sara turned to him with tears in her eyes. "You didn't have to do that." "I wanted to," he said softly, "because I see what love can build, even from broken pieces." Months turned into a year. Sara's small acts of kindness had changed the company culture in Armin's heart. He no longer saw wealth as success, but compassion as power. Then one evening, while they stood watching the sunset from the company rooftop, he handed her the same letter she once found in his suitcase. "You once brought this back to me," he said, "but now I think it belongs to both of us. My wife wanted our daughter to know love and kindness. I think she'd be happy knowing I found someone who reminds me of both." Sara's eyes glistened. "Are you saying a broken bar?" Armin smiled gently. "I'm saying you were never a mistake. You were the right person all along, just with the wrong suitcase." The camera would fade on their silhouettes as the sun dipped low. Two souls who met by accident, only to rewrite fate with honesty and love. Moral: sometimes, what we think is a mistake is destiny wearing a disguise. A single act of honesty can change not just one life but two hearts forever.